am Integraism, and welcome to my Seras cosplay Q&A. I will put the famous video here. I got a lot of questions about how I made the cosplay, some of my design choices, a lot of comments telling me how to fix it. So I keep everything in this lovely box because I used to keep it all hung up, but it took up too much space. And so I drafted the pattern from scratch. I will try to put a photo here, hopefully in the after editing, of what it kind of looked like, but I did make the pattern mostly from scratch, and any amount of patterning I did use was basically rendered null and void by the amount of alterations I had to make. So I would really just look for a pattern, but as princess seams, and then seams down the back, and then just expect to alter it. Now the fabric. A lot of people ask questions. It is neoprene scuba. I got it online somewhere, and then it is actually zippered down the front, and then these are just unfinished and rolled up, and then everything is just stitched on with a zigzag stitch. So everything is just stitched, and then on the outside I did essentially a top stitch. It's not really that functional because you have to leave quite a bit of seam here, but then the pockets were just roughly drafted from scratch. They are actually pleated, they are functional, but I couldn't get the buttons to close the same way I did on this. The buttons took a lot of troubleshooting, especially on the scuba fabric, because it has a tendency to compress, so the buttons don't really function as they should. But I did come up with a solution, and that solution was Velcro. And then the skirt was literally drafted from nothing. I just make sure you have your stretch going this way, because I made two skirts with the stretch going this way. If I were to make these again, I would make them longer, because when I was drafting them, I was like, I wanted it as short as possible. Did not think about going to a convention. We're back and much more appropriately dressed for this video. Please ignore the lighting problem. I am enjoying the sun and clouds moving in and out. But the other thing is accessories, and people had a lot of questions about the ears. Why do I wear pointed ears when I cosplay Seras? The answer is mainly because I've seen pointed ears in a lot of the fan art, and I liked how it looked as a stylistic choice. And it looks cool, and I think they make my cosplay look a little bit different, and artistic choices. Armband, and then the patches. The patches were purchased off Etsy. I want to get some different ones, because these are very stiff, and so when I try to stick them on, they don't stick well, and I didn't want to sew them on and then deal with it being... This one might actually work. And then the arm sleeve was drafted from complete scratch. I have to change which side it's on based on whether or not I'm filming for TikTok or for cons and pictures, but it just pulls on and then it stays on because it's super tight like everything else. Gloves, stockings, that stuff was purchased in Walmart, online. I actually bought the brown gloves at Ace Hardware. There were some changes made on the red costume. I was able to more properly draft the lapels. I made them so they're not sewn in the seam, they're actually folded back, so they sit a little bit better, and they're higher. I actually still need to properly attach this. I just safety pin it usually, which is honestly more comfortable than the Velcro on my throat. And then there weren't a whole lot of other changes, actually. The other thing I would do differently that I did on this one is you'll see this flips up a lot, because I just did one layer, and on the red one, it's actually stitched on both sides. It was folded, and so this one actually sits flatter and is a bit more comfortable overall. But both of them are not super comfortable, so not really. And then the sleeve. So this obviously goes with the red costume. I'm not even sure I put this on the right arm because I have to put it on the wrong arm for TikTok. but it is just a black sleeve that I drafted from an old pattern, and I stitched various fabrics. I just went to Walmart and I took some of the red fabric, I got some sparkly black fabric, and then it's just stitched around there on circles. So I just put it on, I wear a glove, and it looks super cool, especially with the red costume. And then the stockings, I could not find a pair I liked. I still want to try to make a pair of tights, but these were just hand dyed in the sink. I scrunched them up, I made red and black dye, and then you get this glorious mixed color that almost matches this. It doesn't quite, but it's the closest I've gotten. And when you've purchased so many pair of tights, you kind of accept close enough. The belts were just purchased at thrift stores or at Walmart. I think the brown one was at the thrift store, and then the black one that matches the red costume was at Walmart. Don't quote me on that. Any belt will work, honestly. But that's that. And then you can see Velcro here, super functional. Same thing on the red costume. And the wig and makeup. The wig is an Arda, the Magnum. It's an Arda Magnum Long Classic in Fairy Blonde. I currently use my real hair because I am blonde now, and I have like a mullet situation. But it is a Magnum long Arda wig that I just trimmed the bangs up on. I did do a little bit in the back, and then essentially, yes, and then I put on my little ears. I would like to eventually get a lighter platinum for my red cosplay, simply because her hair does get lighter, but since I use my real hair now, and then I just bought blue contacts and let's do very basic makeup. Seras is probably my most comfortable cosplay in terms of the wig and face, but the boots. These were kind of, I had already. I didn't really wear them for what I originally purchased them for, so they kind of migrated to my Seras cosplay. And that's basically all the questions I think there were. If you have more questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section, and I will try to answer them. And hopefully I can spend the rest of the afternoon putting everything back away.